Hey there, UFC bettor. It's Captain Cast Iron, the world's leading UFC fight prediction expert, back once again to help you make money betting on the UFC. Now let's review my top 5 picks for UFC on ESPN 16. Held on Saturday, October 3rd, 2020 at Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates, UFC on ESPN 16 featured a total of 11 fights, with a main event of Holm versus Irene Aldana. I risked 98 units on this event and profited 40.46 units. Pick number 1 was a favorite pick in the bantamweight division. The favorite, Casey Kenny, was 30 years old and had 4 fights in the UFC. The underdog, Hailey Alatang, was 29 years of age and had 2 fights in the UFC. The betting line on Casey Kenny was minus 300, with the comeback on Hailey Alatang at plus 228. I picked the favorite Casey Kenny to win this fight, risking 18 units to win 6. Casey Kenny won and yielded a profit of 6 units. Casey Kenny is one of my favorite fighters to pick. He always has a high rate of effective output, which produces a round-winning, fight-winning, and judge-pleasing style. He's a southpaw fighter who knows how to fight southpaw. Hailey Alatang is an orthodox fighter who normally goes for the takedown. In this fight, he did not go for a single takedown and chose to strike with Kenny. Unfortunately, he had clearly never been instructed on the basics of a southpaw versus orthodox matchup and was outstruck by a wide margin. Pick number 2 was another favorite pick, this time in the women's bantamweight division. The favorite, Germaine de Randamie, was 37 years old and had 8 fights in the UFC. The underdog, Juliana Pena, was 31 years of age and had 6 fights in the UFC. The line on Germaine de Randamie was minus 140, with the comeback on Juliana Pena at plus 110. I picked the favorite Germaine de Randamie to win this fight, risking 18 units to win 12.85. Germaine de Randamie won and added 12.85 units to my total. GDR is one of the best strikers in female combat sports history. Her Muay Thai is superb, but she has struggled with being taken down in each of her 2 losses in the UFC, both to GOAT Amanda Nunes. Juliana Pena, the Venezuelan vixen, is a wrestler and the winner of Tough 18. Her sterling record was 5-1 in the UFC, with her only loss to Valentina Shevchenko. In this classic striker versus grappler matchup, I expected GDR to catch Pena shooting in and finish her with punches. As it turned out, Pena was able to get the takedown but was shockingly submitted by guillotine choke in round number 3. It was GDR's first ever win by submission and could not have come at a better time for me. Pick number 3 was an underdog pick in the lightweight division. The favorite, Jessin Ayari, was 28 years old and had 3 fights in the UFC. The underdog, Luigi Vendramini, was 25 years old and had 1 fight in the UFC. The line on Jessin Ayari was minus 119, with the comeback on Luigi Vendramini at plus 100. I picked the dog Luigi Vendramini to win this fight, risking 18 units to win 18. Luigi Vendramini won and made a deposit of 18 units in my ledger. Luigi Vendramini had been out for over 2 years after moving up a weight class and taking on Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos in his UFC debut. He did very well in that fight, despite being seriously outsized, even taking the back of dos Santos before eventually getting stunned and KO'd with a brutal flying knee. On the other hand, I had not been impressed with his opponent Jessin Ayari, who had lost 2 convincing unanimous decisions after winning a split decision in his UFC debut versus journeyman fighter Jim Wallhead. I saw Luigi Vendramini out grappling Jessin Ayari in this matchup, eventually taking him down and submitting him with a rear naked choke. Instead, Vendramini knocked out Ayari in under 90 seconds and put a smile on my face. Pick number 4 was the second dog in my top 5, this time in the middleweight division. The favorite, Jordan Williams, was 30 years old and had 0 fights in the UFC. The underdog, Nassourdine Imavov, was 25 years old and was also making his UFC debut. The line on Jordan Williams was minus 150 with the comeback on Nassourdine Imavov at plus 120. I picked the dog Nassourdine Imavov to win this fight, risking 18 units to win 21.60. Nassourdine Imavov was victorious and yielded me a profit of 21.60 units. This fight played out as I had hoped. After Jordan Williams won the first round, Imavov took over and thoroughly outstruck his opponent to cruise to a unanimous decision. 2 judges gave him a 10-8 round in the second, and I was glad to start off on the right foot with Imavov. Pick number 5 was my third dog selection in the bantamweight division. The favorite, Kyler Phillips, was 25 years old and had 1 fight in the UFC. The underdog, Cameron Else, was 30 years of age and had 0 fights in the UFC. The betting line on Kyler Phillips was minus 450 with the comeback on Cameron Else at plus 331. I picked the dog Cameron Else to win this fight, risking 18 units to win 59.58. Cameron Else lost, resulting in a loss for me of 18 units. I misread this fight a little bit, thinking that there was a reasonable chance that Cameron Else would surprise everyone and pull off the giant upset. If he was able to stuff the takedown, maybe he could wear out the flashy Phillips and take him down late in the fight when he was gassed. As it turned out, Kyler Phillips was all that he was chalked up to be, gas tank included, while Cameron Else was game but thoroughly outclassed. In addition to my top 5 picks at 18 units apiece we just went over, I picked every other fight on the card as I always do. Please check out my website, captaincastironfightpicks.com, for my fully documented picks going all the way back to November of 2014. Or check me out at captaincastiron on Twitter. Please subscribe to my channel or like my video if you appreciate what I am doing. Other ways you can support me include purchasing my picks, giving a donation, or signing up on my Patreon. All support is greatly appreciated.